Fuck. What's up, everybody? Today I've got my buddy Matt Picanso with me. Been wanting to do this interview for a while. He's already won twice out here this summer on the Dakotas Tour and many more times before that, and I'm sure he's got many more coming. The name speaks for itself. He has done a lot of damage in the pro golf world. Really looking forward to picking his brain today. Thank you for being here with me, man. Appreciate it. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
First and foremost, when did you start playing golf? I know you kind of picked it up and got into competition maybe a little later than some of us.
Yeah, a lot later. I probably played a few rounds here and there with my dad, in my early teens. Nothing serious, though. It was more so like we're on a family vacation. My dad's like, hey, just come bang it with me. Mm-hmm. And I would, and he'd be like, dang, you're like, how are you good at this? And I'd be like, I don't know, it's easy. The ball's just sitting there. I was a baseball player, so I'm used to balls, flying at me. But I never thought anything of it. I was like, golf's not cool. And then I watched Tiger in, I think it was 2001 or 2002, when he beat Bob May at that PGA Championship. Mm-hmm. And immediately in my mind, I was like, dang, this guy's rad, man. He's got it. Like, this is cool. Like, something's happening. And obviously, clearly, history will tell you shit happened. And, my baseball career was kind of ending. I was over baseball. I've been playing it since I was 3 or 4 years old. And I knew it wasn't going anywhere. So I kind of just slowly made the transition to golf. Nothing serious. I just would go out and put some buddies and hit some balls, and didn't play any competitive golf. Just got into it. But I worked so many jobs back then. I was doing construction and bartending, and I was being your typical, early adult, just partying, having a good time. But then I was about 25, and I was like, all right, you know what? I need to do something else. I need to figure out my life. I'm going to move to San Diego, and I'm going to get a job in the golf industry, and I'm going to get into golf. And I did. I got a job in a pro shop. And the head pro at the time, kind of took me under his wing, and he was like, dang, you're really good at golf. Like, you don't play golf? And I go, no. And he goes, why? And I go, because I don't know. So he kind of started working with me and teaching me the basics, and then I got better and better and better. And by the time I was 30, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this shit a go. And I played a couple amateur tournaments back home in Bakersfield, where I grew up, and I won one of them, finished second in the other one. And then when I came back to San Diego, I told my boss, I was like, hey, I want to work part-time, and I'm going to play some tournaments.
Yeah.
So he was like, hell yeah, let's go. And that's kind of how it started. And I mean, those first years were dark. Not dark, but they were like, I was so used to being good at everything I did, whether it was baseball or just anything, any sport I played, I was good. And then, you start playing in tournament, even if it's Golden State or Pepsi Tour, anything. You start playing in these tournaments, and, you're shooting 74s, and you're like, Jesus Christ, these guys are shooting 65s every single week. And you're like, I suck. But I had to keep that all in perspective. I've never played competitive golf, so I don't suck. I just need to get better. And that kind of changed my mentality. So I was very patient with myself, and I tried to do different things, and I shot better scores, but I still wasn't really doing anything great. And it wasn't until about 2015, 2016 that things kind of turned around. And then I played some really good golf, and I started winning stuff. Got to Q school, cruised through first stage, got to second stage. I was actually playing with Xander Schauffele at Oak Valley. In second stage, we played the first 2 rounds together, and we both just cruised right through. And then I'm warming up in the third round, and I hit the sand wedge, and my shoulder just separated from my body and just dropped me to the ground. And I thought it was just nothing, and I picked my club up, and I was like, man, that didn't feel good. And a really good buddy of mine, Eric Miketree, who's a legend himself in the golf world, mini tour golf, was caddying for me, and he was like, you all right? And I looked at him, and I think. Grabbed the sand wedge, I go to hit another one, and I took the club about halfway back and just dropped me to the ground. I went, oh, this is not good. So I had to withdraw, and unfortunately, if most of you know, the Q school, there's no refunds, there's nothing like that. So you're out, $5,300. So that was rough, and that was another dark period where I had to climb my way back out of. But luckily, you know, I made a good relationship with Xander at that time. And his dad had some cool stuff to tell me, like, you know, just about his struggles when he was an Olympian and going through an injury. And I just battled my way back. And then, you know, 2017, I came back and I went to Q school for PGA Tour Canada, and I finished second. And I went out in Canada, and I finally got like my first full year of, you know, some kind of simulation of tour life or traveling, playing golf competitively, getting used to that. And that was huge for me because it kind of taught me what my boundaries are, like how much I can push myself, when to work out, when to practice. Sometimes I think guys get caught practicing too much, or they're on the course, you know, they get to a tournament and they play 3 practice rounds and then they hit balls for 3 hours every day. By the time the tournament starts, they're so mentally exhausted because they want it so bad and they're trying so hard, they literally have already shot themselves in the foot. So that was huge for me because it just taught me to be like, you know what? I know this golf course. I know how to play golf. I'll go play 9 today, play 9 tomorrow, take Wednesday off, go putt. Tournament starts Thursday. Boom, go. Tournament ends Sunday. Monday you travel, don't do anything. Tuesday you play 9 holes. Maybe Wednesday you play 9 holes. Next tournament starts. But you have to find your balance for how many weeks in a row that can go. And for me, I went 4 or 5 in a row, and that was too much. And it was like, this is not cool either. So I figured out 3 weeks is like my max, where I can go hard for 3 weeks, and then I got to take a break. It's just about your mind and just resetting things. People don't understand. Yeah, we're athletes. We're not doing full contact, but golf is mentally exhausting. Like it will exhaust your mind to the point where then, because your mind's exhausted, your body becomes exhausted because your body can't do what your mind wants it to. And then once I found that balance, it was just a lot easier for me to find success. And then the more and more you play golf competitively, the more you believe in yourself as well. And obviously, playing good golf is always going to be a recipe for success. And winning is not something that just comes like because you play good golf or because you practice better than other guys. Winning is totally a mental thing. And once you start believing that you're a winner and that, like, I'm better than everybody, I walk on the driving range, I'm better than every single one of you guys. That might not be true, like, realistically, but in my mind, that's what I believe. Every time I walk on the range, I'm the best guy there. And when I step on that first tee when the tournament starts, that switch clicks in my head, I'm the best guy here. I'm going to win. And I'm not always going to win. Golf's obviously a very hard sport. We fail way more than we succeed. Like if you look at other sports, our rate of success over failure is like severely skewed. We fail, 80% of the time. And if you fail 80% of the time and you win 20% of the time, you're doing really good.
Yeah.
So that's something for a lot of guys to take into perspective, where it's like, I'm not winning tournaments. But if you're playing well and you're making cuts, you're failing, but you're not really failing. You're learning, and you have to learn how to win. And once you learn how to win, it takes care of itself, because then you get that confidence, like, I'm the best. I walk out here, I'm the best. And you have to have that cockiness, like, I am the best, always.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you also have to have a work ethic that mimics your beliefs in that aspect, where it's like, I don't need to practice for 8 hours a day. I need to practice for 4 hours a day, and I know what I'm doing. I don't care what these guys are doing. I'm gonna stand over here, put my earphones in. I don't need to talk to people. I don't need to do anything. I'm gonna do my work, and then I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna sit out here all day and do, whatever other bullshit guys do. And once all those things started clicking for me and, like, kind of working, in succession, my success started happening. And then I started winning and winning and winning and winning. And, people always say, like, yeah, if you're so good, then, why are you not here? Why are you not this? And it's like, well, at the end of the day, yes, I want to play on the PGA Tour. But at the same time, I understand how hard that is, and, like, what that, the percentage of making it as a professional athlete at the highest level, how low that really is. I knew it in baseball. I definitely know it in golf. So at the end of the day, my only goal always is I just want to beat people. I want to win, and I want to beat people. And wherever that leads me, great. But I'm going to keep doing that for as long as I believe that in my mind. And when I stop believing that in my mind, then I'll question what I'm doing. Or like go back to, have like a self-talk with myself. Like, okay, what are you doing? Like, can you still do this? Let's be realistic. And then we'll figure it out from there. But until then, that's all I care about. Winning and being good, regardless of the level. And obviously, I want to get to the next level, and I'm doing things and putting things in motion for that to happen. And obviously, Q School is always the goal. Get to the Korn Ferry, get to the PGA Tour. I've had a lot of demons at second stage of Q School. I've had many close calls. But, each time that happens, you just self-reflect and you realize, okay, well, this is why, this is what, and you fix it. And if you don't make it. And pretty much that's what I'm at right now, where it's like, okay, I know what happened last time, but I also know what it entails. I know what first stage entails. I know what second stage entails. I've caddied on the Korn Ferry Tour, the Web Tour. Like, I know what's out there, and it's just believing. Like, you just have to always believe in yourself, no matter what. Like, I'm gonna make it. I'm the best.
Yeah. Would you say that because I genuinely believe the words coming out of your mouth. I know that you have that level of self-belief. We've talked a lot off camera. Is that something you think you were born with, or because of mimicking the actions of other champions, is that how you made yourself start to view yourself as a champion and have that belief? Because that's something that I struggle with, and I'm always curious how guys upgrade and level up their self-confidence to where they do start to think of themselves as a winner consistently.
I mean, absolutely. You have to not mimic, but if you're not learning or, taking things from guys that have success, then you're failing, because there's a reason why those people have success and why they're so good and why they do things. And for me, obviously, watching Tiger, I'm a huge Kobe guy. Like, half my putters have Kobe head covers because there's just something about Kobe always resonated with me, where it's that mama mentality, where it's like, I don't understand weak-minded people, less strong, not strong-willed people. I don't understand lazy people, where they don't get it that, like, hard work doesn't mean you're going to succeed. Hard work just gives you a chance to succeed. Winning is never guaranteed. Winning doesn't care how hard you work, doesn't care how many hours you put in, doesn't care how hard you work in the gym, doesn't care about any of that. Literally, it doesn't. I don't know why some people win who don't do any of those things. Like, there's guys who don't do any of those things and they win. Whatever, that's great for them. But all I know is, if you work hard and you believe in yourself and you tell yourself you're a winner every single day and you do all those things, you have the chance to win. But if you don't do any of those things, you're going to lose. That's a guarantee. That's the only guarantee that I focus on, is if I don't do these things, I'm going to lose. And that's how Kobe always was, where it's like, if he didn't work as hard as he did all the time, regardless how much he won, he knew he would lose. Mm-hmm. So it's always been hard for me to understand when people are like, well, I work hard all the time, but, like, I don't win. But, like, that guy, like, if I had what he has, I would win. Like, people like that are, like I said, they're just weak-minded. They don't have the strong will to understand that nothing is guaranteed in life. But the only thing that is guaranteed is you will lose if you don't try and you don't do these things. And people can talk smack and say whatever they want about people who try and don't succeed, but those are the epitome of haters, where it's like, dude, the more people I got hating on me, great. I love that. Good. Jocko, ready? Seal, think about it, man. Good. Woke up today, my back hurts, don't want to practice? Good. Go practice. Woke up today, went out, hit the first 3 shots perfect, 3 under through 4, hit it behind the tree, made double. Good. Let's see what you do after that. Like, people who, like, are always making excuses, where it's like, I don't have this because of this, or I don't have this because of that. They're never going to succeed, because they don't have that mentality where it's like, you're not owed anything. Nothing. Life doesn't owe us crap, other than we wake up every day and it's up to us to decide what we do that day. And I mean, once I started really focusing on those things and believing those things, it's so much easier to manage those bad days, where it's like, you know what? Good. I had a bad day. Good. I'll have a great day tomorrow. Like, it's that simple, in my mind at least. But it's hard for a lot of people to understand that. But it's really not rocket science, because being alive doesn't mean anything other than you're alive. Now, what are you going to do with it? It's that simple.
I like it. No, I feel like a lot of us, especially in golf, love to overcomplicate things, and it's not that hard, and life in general. So you're 39 right now? Is that correct?
I'll be 39.
Be 39 coming up. Okay, didn't mean to.
Man,
put an extra number up there, but so when we were going chronologically through your start with golf, and then when you started to really get some sauce and feel good, you told me Canada. What was that, like 17, 16?
Yeah.
Okay.
17.
So you would have been roughly 30,
I was 34
at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so the gears started clicking there. Started having some success, winning. Did you play Q schools for any other PGA Tour umbrella tours?
Oh, yeah.
Or okay?
I mean, like I said,
that taking you?
I made it to second stage 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019.
Shit.
And like I said, I got some bugaboos at old second stage.
Understandable.
But I also, like, the more I've reflected and kind of thought about all those times, like what happened, I got in my own way every time because I wanted it too bad. I didn't just trust in myself and like what I do and all the work that I do. I wanted it so bad. I was focused so much on the end result. Like, I was never, I was so focused on, like, if you don't do this, you're a failure. I mean, that's like the epitome of a loser, where it's like success is all relative to every single person. And the more that I started to read stuff, and I read books, and you listen to guys like Jocko and all that kind of stuff, where it's like, man, no matter what happens for me at the end of my whole journey, whether I make it on the PGA Tour or do any of this, everything I've went through and the work that I've done and the mindset that I have, I will be successful at anything I do after this, because I will always think about and remember those things that I think about when I play golf, where it's like, I'm the best. I will make it. I will win. I'm good. Bad things happen. Good. Who cares? Like, you move on. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the amount of times when I first started. I mean, if I turned pro when I was 30, so that was 2013. Yeah, so 2013.
Okay.
I mean, there was times, I'm not even joking, like, I'm playing a Golden Stater, and I got maybe $400 in my checking account. And I got to put up $825 or something for this tournament. And if I do that, I'm going to put it on my credit card, obviously. So if I don't do well, I got to pay that credit card. That puts me, now I'm minus $500 in the hole. Yeah. Not to mention rent, everything else involved. So, I mean, there's times when it's like, okay, I'm going to enter this tournament, and if I don't play well, by the end of the month, I'm going to be $2-3 grand in the hole, guaranteed. And I don't know what it was about, like, the times, like, I would struggle so hard, where, like, I was so backed up against the corner that it freed me up, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I'm betting on myself. I'm entering this tournament, and then boom. And I would go win it. And it would only be like $4 or $5 grand, but it was like huge at the time. It's like $4 or $5 grand, bam. Now I got this in the bank account. Pay my rent for a couple months. Enter a couple more tournaments.
Hell
and
yeah.
like, that would happen. But then I wouldn't get comfortable, but it would be like, at the time, nobody understands it unless you're a struggling, like, mini tour player, where it's like, at the time, when you make like a $5,000 check, you're rich at the time. Like, you're like, yes, hell yeah. Like, I'm going to go to Outback tonight. I'm going to get a steak from Outback. Yeah. I'm going to get some beers. Like, I'm going to have a good time. Like, and you don't even worry about anything else, because that's all you think about. And it's so week to week, where it's like, 1 week you have $5 grand, and the next week you don't. And then 2 tournaments later, you miss a couple cuts, and all of a sudden you're like, shit, I'm back down to, I got $400 in my banking account.
Yeah. I
had so many months and couple years like that it just, like, if you can get through that and make it through that, man, you make it on the other side, and it's like, I mean, I don't, people ask me all the time, like, how many times have you won? Like, how much money have you really made? Like, you know, and I have no idea. I mean, I don't. But all I know is I never have those times anymore. I don't have those weeks.
Hell yeah.
I put a lot of money away. Like, I saved a lot of money.
Good for you, bro.
And like I said, going through that whole process will make me just successful at anything I do. And the same thing for you. Like, everything you're doing, social media, the golf, everything you're doing is working together, regardless of the golf. And people can say whatever they want. Like, yeah, you're struggling right now with golf, but that's not your main focus. Your main focus is you're creating something. You're creating, you know, a movement, a business, something like that. Everything in golf is always a movement. It's not always result based. Mm-hmm. People focus so much on results, where it's like, and like I said, winning in golf is so much harder than anybody actually realizes. Like, it is very, very hard.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Thank you.
I mean, there's so many great players that are on the PGA Tour who have never won. Think about that. They're on the PGA Tour. They have never won. People don't call them failures.
Right?
Exactly. But they don't win.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's just, it's such a mind trip in your own, each player's mind, to like overcome that and to like realize that, holy shit, like, why am I so focused on results and like winning, when it's like, I'm playing good golf, I know I'm good, but I'm so busy worrying about that aspect of it that I'm like not seeing everything else that's happening around me. Where it's like, you know, I'm doing all these great things, I'm meeting connections, people obviously like me, I'm a likable guy, things are happening, but I'm so worried about, you know, the winning aspect, because if I don't do that, then maybe they won't like me.
Right.
I mean, that's just, and I feel like that's the problem with a lot of things in the world right now. Social media has created this whole, you know, aura of like, you have to be perfect.
Right.
You don't have, nobody's perfect. Everybody you see on there is not perfect. Not one single person is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, that's not real life. Like, real life is a struggle, because it's what it is. Life is a struggle. And you figure out your own way, pave your own path, and just, I mean, like I said, for me, I walk on a golf course and I believe I'm the best. Regardless if I am, maybe sometimes I am, that day I'm the best, that's what it is. But every time I do it, that's always the same. That's the only thing that stays constant.
I like that. And you told me that you mentioned you work with a sports psychologist, try to reflect on some rounds. What are those conversations like? What things have changed for you in the last year or two in terms of your approach going into golf tournaments, especially ones that you have a chance to win coming down the stretch, and then your reflection process? Do you journal? Do you just think through things?
So we do like I wouldn't call it a journal. It's more like a thought log.
Okay.
Where, you know, it's for me to self-reflect on my thoughts throughout those rounds, and, you know, what's going on in those tournaments. And if anything, it just gives me like a baseline of like, you know, okay, when I'm doing this, I win.
Okay.
So when I do this, I win. It's like a recipe basically for, you know, how I think when I'm winning.
Okay.
And literally, like, it'll make people laugh, but how I think when I'm winning is so obscure to like the average human, where it's like, I don't even, basically I'm not there. Like, I'm not on the golf course. I'm singing a song in my head.
Really?
I'm not thinking about shit. I mean, I'm just, I literally, like, I hit the tee shot, get in my cart. I mean, I don't always remember them, but I do remember one very, very specifically, and it was 2017, maybe 2016. I shot 60 in the final round of the Monterey Open to win. I was like 7 shots back to John Ellis, great player in his mind. And I went out that day, and like in my mind, I was like, all right, like, I'm the best. Like, I gotta shoot 54 to win. But like, whatever, who cares? I'm gonna shoot 54. I'm gonna birdie every hole. Like, that's what I told myself when I was warming up on the range. I'm gonna birdie every hole. Who cares? It's already done. I'm birdieing every hole.
Let's go.
And like I'm warming up, and like for some reason that day, like I always play different playlists in my like when I'm warming up, and for that for some reason that day like Bob Marley comes on in my head, like in my headphones, and it's Could You Be Loved?
Oh yeah.
And the whole day, it's like I would hit a shot and I'd get in we're taking carts. It's mini tour golf. We take carts. I'm in a cart and I'm driving to my next shot and I'm just like, could you be loved? And the whole day I'm just jamming out in my head, and then I get up, hit the shot, go up, make the putt. Next thing I know, I get to the last hole. I'm like looking around, and all of a sudden there's all these people, and I'm like, why are all these people here? Like I'm like the third group off, like fourth group off. I'm like, where are all these people here? Sure enough, like my playing partners luckily hadn't said anything to me out of respect for, this is like baseball or anything. Like if a pitcher's throwing a perfect game, you don't talk about it. You don't do any of that. But clearly they were telling other people. And like I looked up, and I had like an 18-footer on 18, and I looked up and I'm like, there's a lot of people around. What's going on? And then all of a sudden, like my mind switched, and it was like I started counting. I was like, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an eagle, 8, birdie 9. I just made birdie, now 10. Or no, I just made eagle, so now it was 11. I eagled 17. I was like, shit, I'm 11 under.
59 watch.
And like, there was times when, I mean, in any golfer's career, like if you did that, that was like the immediate curse, right? Where it was like, oh shit, you just thought about it. Like, oh my God. But in my mind, it was like, wait, 10, 11. Oh, damn. But wait, if I make this, I shoot 60. I was like, what's the course record? Oh yeah, Nick Watney has it, 61. Shit, I'm gonna beat Nick Watney's course record. Hell yeah. That was the only thing I thought. I didn't even think about, holy shit, you're about to shoot 60.
Sick.
Your lowest competitive round ever. I was like, I'm going to beat Nick Watney. 18-footer, just throated.
Hell yeah, bro.
And then I walk in, and I'm like, man, I'm going to finish like top 5. Like, I had to pass everybody. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, they're on like 16 right now. You got a 4-shot lead. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, all right, cool. I won.
Dope.
And that was like the first time when, how they, people talk about you got to get comfortable going low, or you got to be comfortable like, going that low, where it kind of registered in my mind where I was like, okay, cool, I got this. Like, I know what to do now. So the next time it happens, I know what to do. It's like, I hate when people say like, oh, don't think about it. Like, yeah, you don't want your playing partners every hole going, oh, dang, another birdie. Oh, another birdie. You're going to break the course record. Obviously, you don't want them doing that, but in your own mind, it's okay to realize, like, holy crap, I'm going deep today, and embrace it and be like, all right, and like not, let that freak you out, and all of a sudden be like, oh God, I better hit 3-iron on this hole. Like, why would you hit a 3-iron on the hole? You just hit 15 perfect drivers. Like, no, pull the driver out and send it. Like, and that was kind of another like breakthrough in my career where it was like, okay, I'm not scared anymore. Like, I can go low. Like, I just have to embrace it. And when it happens, and some days it does happen, you get in those zones where, earlier this year at Central Valley, I was 100% in that zone. Like, it didn't matter what was around me. People could be talking. It didn't matter. Like, every shot I hit was right where I wanted, on the button.
Hell yeah.
Like, that's just, it's okay to feel that and be like, okay, cool. I'm going to shoot 900 today. And like, not every golfer can do that. There's lots of very good golfers who can shoot 5 under, 6 under. But until they have that moment where they get that deep and then they realize, like, it's okay. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like, isn't this the whole point? This is what I practice for. Like, this is why I do this. And then when they realize that and embrace it, after that, you'll start to see low score, low score, low score, low score, low score.
I love that. Wow.
But as far as like what we talk about with my sports psychologist is basically always what we talk about, where it's like, Matt, no matter, I don't care if you're shooting 64 or 74, be where your feet are, always. Like, that's my main thing when I think about when I'm playing really good golf is I'm going to be where my feet are.
I like that.
Because I can't be not where my feet are, right? And if we get where our feet are, then you're in trouble. You're thinking about like, shit, I just 3-putted 3 holes ago. Well, it's 3 holes later. Why are you still thinking about you 3-putted 3 holes ago? So
I like that. Yeah, being present for sure. I don't want to take too much more time. A couple more questions. we love talking about fitness and health. You're one of the most ripped guys out here. We both click on that whole gym thing.
Sure,
How
keep
long
up
has
with
that? How long has that been a part of your process? I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but for everyone else, do you lift on golf days? Do you make any changes during your competitive season, or you just keep bulldozing right through doing your normal lifts?
Yeah.
What's your nutrition
for me,
like?
it was hard. I think early in my career, I lifted like I was a baseball player, and that was the problem.
Okay.
Because it's so different. Like, golf is such a different animal compared to other sports because we're not reacting to anything. We don't have to be physically like ready.
Yeah.
Like, it's more so maintenance. And so I lifted. I was a lot. I probably like earlier in my career, I was a lot bigger. Like, I had a lot more muscle mass on me. And it was cool. Like, I probably swung it faster. I still swing it really fast, but I swung it probably faster then. But it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't like, something that I felt like I could have a long career doing, because I would have days where it's like, you don't talk about it, and I would never tell people, but, that goes back to like what I told you, like the main thing I admired the most about Tiger Woods was when Tiger was struggling, he would never let anybody know. He would never let a competitor know he was struggling. Like, he would play bad, but his bad was, you wouldn't know, because he would just hit these crazy shots and I guarantee you he was in pain all of those rounds.
Yeah.
I've had those rounds where it's just like I'm in pain the entire round, and it's like you just try your hardest not to let people know. Well, I started changing things where I was like, okay, I'm going to work more on my flexibility. I'm going to work more on mobility, and then I'm going to learn a lot more about the physics of golf and like the biomechanics of my body as far as golf goes. And that probably happened in 2016.
Okay.
Right after I hurt my shoulder in Q school, I started working with these guys in Temecula at Dynamic Fitness, and Kevin Duenas and Brian. They helped me understand my body and like what works for me. And I would say now we have a pretty good balance of basically, so off days, if I have 2 days off before actual competitive play, I'll lift some weights. Like, I'll do some lifting and like, probably like more heavy weight, less reps. But during tournaments, like during the weeks of, it's pretty much like I listen to my body, where it's like there's days like today, I think I told you earlier, I wanted to work out today, but I was so tired yesterday. I played yesterday, played Monday, obviously won in Worthington, finished Sunday. Winning is always exhausting just because mentally it just fatigues you, and mental fatigue literally causes body fatigue. It just does. They go hand in hand. And so I got up and like I thought about it. I stretched a little bit and I just laid there and I went, you know what? I'm old, man. I'm not gonna go push it in the gym today. Like, I don't need to. Like, I need to rest. I'll chill today. I don't tee off till 12 something tomorrow. I'll go for like a light run. That's what I like to do, actually. I actually love the late, early times. Like if I go afternoon, morning, because when the tournament starts and I'm in the afternoon, I'll go for like a nice jog, like 3 or 4 miles that morning, get my body loose. I'll do some light like stretching, a lot of like dynamic, static stretching. And then I'll play that afternoon. I'll do the same thing the next morning, like a quick stretch, warm up, and then I'll go play that morning. And then after that morning round, I'll go to the gym.
Gotcha.
It won't be like heavy lifting, but like I'll go through like a normal. I like to do full body routine. So basically, I'll get on the bike for like 25 minutes. I'll do like a quick hill climb on a bike. Then I'll go through like a full body. Like, I'll do light squats, like maybe 1 plate on each side. I'll go through squats. I'll do some guillotine squats, and then I'll do like some shoulders, some chest, some arms, but everything's lightweight, just kind of like, keeping myself loose. And then when that tournament ends, like I said, then Monday, Tuesday, if I have rest days, then I might lift something heavy. But like for me, that's what's like ended up working for me at my age. When I was younger, like you're like, obviously you could work. I could do 3-4 days a week easily. But the older I've gotten and playing golf, at least that's what works for me.
For sure. I love that. Moving forward, again, I think I know the answer to this, but like, you have had some Korn Ferry starts, right? You just won that thing with Canelo recently. Do you have any more things like that lined up, or just Q school this fall and see where it takes you?
I mean, you never know what the future holds. Like I've had some contacts with some other stuff, some other tournament directors. We'll see what happens in the future. I don't have anything set in stone, but I mean, yeah, right now my main goal is, I set for at least for the summer, was like, I'm going to come win, I'm going to win the Dakotas Tour. I'm going to win that money list, and then I'm going to go to Q school and hopefully cruise through second stage for once finally.
You got it.
And get to finals and get some good status. And then, I mean, if I ever had the chance, like for a full year, to just do PGA Tour Mondays, that's always been my dream, because I feel like PGA Tour Mondays are almost easier than doing Korn Ferry Tour Mondays, because half the time there's not that many guys at some of them. Obviously, some of them are more popular, so there will be, but most of them there's not. And it's like Mondaying for Korn Ferry Tours right now is honestly way harder than Mondaying for a PGA Tour tournament. So it's like, until I could easily go do every Korn Ferry Monday, but it's like, you could go play well every single time, shoot 65, 64 every single time, you might get in one tournament. And you're going to spend 30 grand doing that.
Yeah.
And in my mind, like I said, I'm like, I want to compete. I don't care what level it is. I want to go play tournaments and beat people and win. Because no matter what that level that's at, when I do get to that next level, that's what's going to help me be successful there, is the fact that it's like, everywhere I go, I feel like I'm the best. I step out on the range, I'm the best.
Yeah.
And then when I get to that level, it's like, it might be weird at first, but then I'll just be like, there's just more guys. But I'm still going to have that belief, I'm the best, I'm here to win.
That's going to take you far, bro.
So, yeah. So I'm going to go to Q school again this year. And hopefully, God, fingers crossed, nothing crazy happens in second stage, and we just have a nice, normal week, and yeah, we get through.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, best of luck on all that, bro. One of my favorite homies out here. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Keep
Pico.
doing
Always
you.
a fan. Always rooting for you. See you at the top, man.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
If you guys enjoyed this, let us know. If you got any comments, more questions you want me to ask Matt, I'm sure we could do a part 2 at some point. And please click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, guys.